Santa Barbara Baker here. I'm baking up eggplant parm pizza on this episode of Pizza Time. By eggplant parm, what do I mean? I feel like that's a dish that, depending on who you are, it might mean something different. For me, the food memory for eggplant parm that sticks out is I didn't grow up on the dish. I don't think an eggplant ever stepped foot in my house growing up. But one memory that really sticks out to me is I was on the island of Ischia, that's off the coast of Italy. Beautiful spot out on this peninsula out there where there's this little rad organic farm, and they cook up some food there. And they said, you have to have this dish. And it was so simple. Just the super heady, fresh eggplants. This is when we want to use those farmer's market eggplants, just sliced, fried as is, no dredging, no flour, anything, and really good olive oil. They were using the olive oil from the olives they grew there, amazing. Fried up, just till golden brown, just hit with some salt afterwards. You don't need to do any of those tricks of salting ahead of time, putting in the microwave, any of that stuff you ever hear for this treatment. It's a super OG variety. Along with the eggplant, we're just gonna layer it on the pizza with the world's best tomato sauce. This is just some tomatoes rolled up with salt, always using the best. That's what they were doing. They were using those tomatoes they were growing right there too in Ischia. So fresh, so bomb. Along with that, the mozz. That's kind of this crazy thing. Eggplant parm, people always think that it must have Parmesan cheese. I'm not the authority on this at all. Maybe you can let me know what you think of that down in the comments below, the origins of this dish. But when I see it over in Italy, there is no Parmesan involved at all. It's just fresh mozz, along with eggplant, and rounding it off, I like, fresh herb in there. And I think in Italy, depending on where you are, it might vary a little bit. I've seen oregano, basil. I like basil. Tomato, basil, eggplant. It's going to be bomb. It's all going to ride on the natty dough. I'm going to get it stretched out. Got the oven all heated up. Got it cranked right now. We'll turn it down just before loading. I'm going to get that dough stretched. We'll build this thing together. It's eggplant parm. It's eggplant parm pizza time. Got my natty dough all stretched out. That's my sourdough recipe. That's up on santabarbarabaker.com. Today I'm using a little smaller dough ball. It's clocking in at 245. I'm shooting for a 10-inch pizza today. I'm starting to build this eggplant parm pizza. How am I building it? I'm doing it just like my favorite rendition of the dish I've ever had on the island of Ischia off of Italy, where they just simply layered the eggplant in an earthenware dish, just alternating with the eggplant, cheese, the tomatoes, a little bit of herbs in there. But we're just going with one layer today. The eggplant's gonna go on the bottom. Since it's already cooked through, I wanna give it a little insulation because I'm afraid it might burn in the oven. So we're putting that down on the bottom. I'm gonna go now with some cheese, and we're just gonna kind of hit cheese sauce, for like giving that classic look. When you've seen eggplant parm, it's just kind of like, a rustic dish. Stuff kind of like, you want to make sure you get a nice creamy bite full of that delicious eggplant cheese sauce, all of them. But I feel like sometimes you get in there's like that extra, you get the fat chunk of eggplant. And that's, I think, it's a bomb thing when you're having a dish like this. All right, let's get this focus on here, making sure I got this all on here nice. I'm gonna hit it with some sauce. When you're going sauce on top, you always want to be careful to not go overboard. Just do little dollops of sauce. When you're using that ladle, you have better control over how much sauce you're getting on the pizza. But going sauce up, I find myself sometimes I go overboard. You want to hit it just enough. I'm just doing little dollops kind of in between here. Making sure, like I was saying, every bite has the firemost, the headies, everything. You want to have all those flavors in each one. But this is a simple pie here, so let's get it all together now. All right, one little piece of cheese. Let's get it on there. And I'm just gonna fill in with the basil. I was debating, do I put this on first, in the middle, whatever. I don't think it really matters as long as it gets in there. I like being able to see it, so that's why I'm going last here, just kind of fitting it in between. I'm gonna go big here. Fresh oregano would be another solid choice here. Let's just load this thing up. We got all this basil on here today. Looking pretty good. I'm just gonna finish it up with a nice drizzle of olive oil. Going big here, got some nice California olive oil. Salt, as we always do. Well-seasoned pie, that's what we want. Pepper, looking good. Making sure, you don't want to get it all over your workspace here. That's kind of a goober move. We'll get this cleaned up, onto the peel. We'll load it in the uni, take it for the bake. It's eggplant parm, it's pizza time. Getting our eggplant parm pizza all loaded up here on the peel. This is your one last chance to stretch it. I like to max it out to the full size of the peel here and get, one last chance to get it around. This is looking pretty good. Maybe I could have pulled the toppings out a little bit more to the side, but let's get it in before it sticks. But I can never resist gooping it, getting a little sauce in my hand. That's a rookie move. Loading up. I had the oven heated full blast, but now I got it down to low. We're just on the normal low. That's how we're gonna start the bake off. First few turns, and we'll see where we're at. It's a smaller pizza today. I might just cook all in low today, not hitting that ultra low, but we'll just take a look. We're soul baking again. That means I don't have a timer set here. I'm using my eyes. I'm looking for, I'm starting to see some bubbles popping up from that fermentation. Some nice little leoparding hopefully going on there. About 30 seconds in, and going for my first turn, going in, tilting up, pulling back. That should spin the pizza a little bit. I'm going in here. Wish me luck. Going in, and see, it's just as easy as that. Going in here, I got this GI.Metal peel tool here. Turn back. That'll spin your pizza, and that also gets, raising that crust up a little bit, hopefully getting you some more browning. All right, another 20 seconds here or whatever. We're gonna go in for another turn. It feels a little sticky here. That's what you always wanna be careful. This, round peel is always gonna be more forgiving, but you wanna always time your turns to make sure you're not sticking, ripping that pizza, because that's when you're having a bad time. All right, let's go back in here for another turn. It's looking pretty good. Getting some nice leoparding going on there. Maybe a little dark there, but so far the bake's looking really good. Oven's nice and hot. I heated it full blast, getting that deck full temp. That's about 850 for me. And then right before I launch the pizza, I turn it down, and then we'll see here. Sometimes I go in that ultra low zone. That's when I want a little more browning on the top, the crispier bottom, which we always like. This thing's looking so far so good. Looking really nice. These smaller pies, this is around 10 inches here. Far easier to work in the big size of the Koda 16. So if you're having trouble baking your pizzas, maybe try going with a little bit smaller dough ball size. And that might, a little more forgiving. The big size, trying to get that full 16, it's difficult. Especially if you don't have the right tools for the job. All right, back to the pizza baking. That's looking pretty good. I think this thing's about finishing up here. Do I want to go ultra low or not? That is the question. Let's just go in there. That's going clockwise up to the full blast, working quickly. Oh, there we go. Pass, pushing in, turning to the right, finishing it up here in the ultra low zone, making sure you don't get on that full blast for too long. That's how you're going to burn your pie. But just finishing this off here. See, once you get the little turning motion, you can just move your pizza around, finishing it off here. Moving it up a little bit by the dome there, getting a little more browning. There's all sorts of liquid coming off. That's also the kind of sketchy thing with these eggplant parm pies. That's when you want to make sure your initial cook of that eggplant is really nice, so it's not super soupy on the pizza. Let's take a look here in the finishing mode here. Looking pretty nice. Want to see a little more brownie on that crust back there, but we're looking pretty good. This is my standard, Santa Barbara bake. It's like, a Neapolitan bake, but maybe a little longer. A little bit cooler too. Flours I'm using, I can't go like the super 1,000 degrees because I got a little bit, a little more whole grain type stuff in there, which will burn. Let's get this out of here. We can talk more flour when we give it for the taste. I think this is looking pretty good to me. Check that thing out, the eggplant parm pizza, looking firemost. Getting used to this new tool in here, loading it, pulling it out of the oven and onto the rack as we always do. It's just a little bit different dance around here over all my stuff, but we're just gonna let it hang out. We always do this because you want to make sure if you vibe out with that crispy bottom, make sure it happens. You just baked it, leave it on the rack for a little bit, let it crisp up, or hits the plate, slice it up, give this thing a taste. It's looking firemost. It's eggplant parm, OG style. A little Ischia vibes. It's Eddie's. It's pizza time. This pizza is looking so bomb. I feel like this is honoring one of my favorite food memories, and that's eating a little eggplant parm on the island of Ischia off of Italy. It's one of my favorite dishes I think I can remember of all time because it's, just that combination of place and ingredients all coming together. And just looking at this, it brings me right back there because this is coloring of the cheese melting, that gooey eggplant, all of it. It looks really delicious. I was a little sketched on putting this pizza together. So I feel like eggplant, like I was mentioning as I was baking, can be, I think it's a problematic topping. It can be waterlogged, kind of stuff people think they don't like eggplant. Turns out they might. You just gotta treat it right. Make sure you hook them up with the headies. Get that firemost eggplant, grow your own, or pick it up from your farmer's market and treat it right. Simply. That's what I like to do around the Santa Barbara Baker household. I just sliced it, fried it up gently in some olive oil till golden brown. We hit it on the pizza along with that world's best tomato sauce. That recipe's up on SantaBarbaraBaker.com too. Some fresh mozzarella on the natty. Check out the recipe, SantaBarbaraBaker.com. But let's get to the most important part. Let's try this pizza. It looks so delicious. I'm debating either this slice or this slice. Look at that eggplant popping up that crazy bubble too. A little cheesier over here. I think I'm just gonna go for it. It looks headies. The pickup looking good. I'm stoked on this because this was loaded with toppings. I built this like you would like a traditional eggplant parm, in a little earthenware dish, something a little nice to serve on the table. We just put it on the pizza though, layer it up, but it's a little bit heavy kind of toppings. Thought it might be a little tricky turning it, everything, but it came together so nice. Baked up, looks pretty good. 245 gram dough ball here. I thought that's fun playing around with that smaller size. It looks like a good pizza. Let's get the show on the road though and give this thing a taste. It looks headies. This is a delicious pizza. This is another, I don't know. Occasionally you make some that you're more excited than others, but this one comes together so good. I love these pies that are just so simple. How much is on here? We just have the eggplant just cooked barely in that olive oil, fresh basil, that world's best tomato sauce, the mozz, but when it synthesizes, all comes together on a well-baked piece of dough, it is so bomb. This is the kind of pizza I live for. Hope you guys can give this one a try. Let me know what eggplant parm means to you down in the comments. This is just my version, which is inspired by a version I had. I know there's tons of different stuff out there. Fried up one on here, that could definitely be the dank too. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you tried it. Recipes up on SantaBarbaraBaker.com. That's a blog where you can find all the firemost pizza recipes. I'm Santa Barbara on Instagram. Make sure you like, share with your friends, share the firemost pizza and our pizza journey all together as we continue making the headband OG pizza. One love to you all. Love you all. Keep dreaming, making pizza, loving pizza. One love.